BBC Scotland, Arkenfield's onto a winner, but there's a scandal in the air. Trainer.
Mother! You're supposed to be there 2 hours before takeoff, not 2 minutes.
I've been crossing the Atlantic since 1958, and they haven't gone without me yet.
Flying has changed, Mother. Well, what airline are you taking?
British Airways. What else?
Well, let me help you.
I'm not in my dotage, John.
And don't forget, Alice is meeting you at JFK.
The greatest disappointment of my life, having to rely on your sister to provide a son and heir.
Alice is a broodmare by inclination. Anyway, there's still time.
At your age, don't be ridiculous.
Do you have your passport? Do you have your ticket? And remember, no furtive bus trips to the casinos of Atlantic City this time. Excuse me, I think you've made a mistake.
Got room for a freeloader?
David.
Only if you're passing the stud, though.
Yes, of course. Are you here on holiday?
Not exactly.
And your mother is...
Stepmother is expecting me? No. She'll be quite a surprise, though, eh?
Feed him, will you, when he's cooled off?
Yes.
Rachel.
David.
You know, I would kill for a decent cup of tea.
I bet you would.
He collared me outside Terminal 4. I mean, what could I do? Pretend I didn't know him?
You could have run him over.
I'd say Bradley looks as if vivid dreams were pulling your horse along.
Would you like to see him round again, Brigadier?
Well, no need. Just keep him ticking over till Friday week.
James?
No, I've seen more than enough.
Before I brought him to Arkenfield, I thought I'd been sold a pup. You'll perform miracles, Mike.
Thank you.
What do you say, Brand? Want to get a good price about him at Newbury?
Looks a sure thing, Brigadier. If I were you, I'd put my shirt on it.
Sorry, gents.
Thank you, Annie.
I think 3 years of hamburgers and squeaky clean women is enough for anybody. So here I am.
Stay.
Oh, yes.
Where?
I thought the family pile. For the time being, at least.
And what about a job?
A what?
You know what most people do for a living?
Well, it would be a pity to waste a Kentucky apprenticeship. So, I figured I could make a useful contribution around here. Reorganize your breeding program, for instance. However, with all my other commitments, I doubt I'll have the time.
Equade turns runners into winners.
The old Land Rover finally given up the ghost.
Bloody thing's only fit for the scrap heap.
Well, nonsense. The place that offside drive shall be as good as new.
Oh? Better give the garage a call. Ask them to go and collect it. It's up on the straight 5.
And see they took the bearing while they have it stripped.
Right. I'm sorry, Brigadier.
Reminded me of my time in the 5th Armored Division. Happy days. I'll call you in the week. Round.
You wouldn't care to cough up for a new set of wheels, would you, James?
Raw silk cost me £26,000 on expert advice. I do not wish to cough up for a new vehicle.
What do you expect from Raw Silk? It's early days.
Huh. But I don't expect it to be whipped by a nag that by right should be pulling a milk cart.
The Brigadier's got an eye for a bargain.
Well, maybe I should employ him to buy my horses.
What's in it?
Basically, it's a high-energy feed supplement. The usual stuff, plus a secret herbal mix. All above board. CDL have had it on sale in the States for months, and you don't get more respectable than that.
And?
The results have been sensational.
So, why are you offering it exclusively to me? Why don't you just flood the market?
Well, you know me, Mike. I'm a lazy bastard at the best of times. Look, I have the British franchise on Equade. So, if you put a couple of average horses on it and they start winning, every trainer in the country
will be beating a path to your door.
Right.
Meaning Arkenfield does your advertising for you?
If you like.
I'm sorry, David. I don't think so.
Now, hold on a minute. What if we give it to one horse?
James.
Raw silk.
Will come good.
But it's early days yet.
There are no shortcuts to getting a horse right.
I'm not suggesting an alternative to your training regime, Mike. Look upon Equade as a way of maximizing potential. That's all. Putting one over on the opposition.
And let's face it, Raw silk needs all the help he can get.
Give it a month. If you're still not satisfied, I'll even give you your money back.
Now, you can't say fairer than that, can you?
for raw silk.
What's that?
Super Scoff. Should get him up and running.
You can chuck a couple of spoonfuls in my tea, see if it'll jizz me up a bit.
Bloody hell.
You look done in.
That's because I am done in.
You could try easing off.
I thought you were running me into town.
Mike rang.
Problems?
Seems raw silk isn't performing as expected. I'd a guess James Brand has been moaning at him and Mike wants to moan at me. You're filthy. Have you been mud wrestling?
No, I was run off the road by the Ware Stud Range Rover.
Oh, Rachel doesn't usually employ boy racers.
It wasn't one of her lads driving. It was David Ware.
They're off.
Hey, raw silk's improved. By just over 5 seconds. Looks pretty good to me.
He came out of his box like a rocket this morning.
Yeah.
Maybe I was doing David Ware a disservice.
Aye. Maybe he would have improved anyway, without the funny fodder.
Maybe he would. But I'm not going to argue if it puts him in the frame.
Yeah, he's a different horse, all right. Last week, Nick really had to grab hold of him.
Right. Breakfast. For once, ringing James Brandt's going to be a real pleasure.
Lovely, isn't she?
Wonderful springy stride. Where's David?
Windsor. Why, what's he done?
Nothing that I'm aware of. I just wanted to tell him that Equator appears to be every bit as good as he said it was.
I'm amazed.
Me too. Maybe the leopard can change his spots after all.
I'll believe that when I see it.
What is it between you two?
He thinks that I persuaded Frank to cut him out of his will. I didn't, of course, but he'll never believe that. Is that the costing for the lab?
Yes. I'm afraid it's a couple of thousand more than I'd expected.
Well, come to the office. I'll call the bank and arrange for a transfer of funds. You seen Frances the last couple of days?
Yes, why?
Pat McNichol has a earring I wanted to look at.
Give her a ring.
I have. I've tried a couple of times. Left a message on her machine, but she never calls back. She's not avoiding me, is she?
He looks as if he could beat the world.
I'll settle for the runners in a 3:30 at Kempton next Thursday. Okay, Nick.
Bloody hell.
Easy, easy. All right, Nick. Take it. Sorry, Governor. What happened?
I don't know, sir. He's been a bit jumpy for the last day or two.
Damn it! Well, there's no serious damage.
But the foot is badly bruised.
Poultice?
Yes. I've got a poultice boot in the car I can let you borrow.
I was going to run him at Kempton. What do you reckon?
Depends on how quickly it heals. But don't hold your breath. I'd say his chances are no better than 50-50. I'll call in tomorrow, Mike.
Thanks, Stuart.
Just get that boot.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Grant. These things happen.
Look, I'll join you in the office. I want to have a word with Nick.
Sure.
I know you can't do anything to speed up the healing process.
That's right.
But if there's no serious damage, surely you can give him something for the pain.
I'm sorry, James. I'm not sure I understand you.
Oh, come on, Stuart. Give him something to take his mind off it. Then he can run on Thursday.
It couldn't have happened at a worse time. A stupid animal was bang in form. Kempton would have been a formality.
Grant must have popped a blood vessel.
Actually, he took it rather well. That always unnerves me.
Hi.
Nick, Jack.
There's a rumour going round that you'd emigrated.
I'll get him in.
What do you have, lad?
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing. It's just that Rachel said she'd been trying to get hold of
When I start telling you how to do your job, you can tell me how to do mine.
What did I say?
To training.
Rachel, can I borrow the Range Rover? I have to go into town.
Sure. Keys are in the office. Perhaps we should think about it.
Where's Dad?
Who is it?
I have no idea.
Hello? Oh, Francis.
With the heat gone out of his foot, he's sound. Box him up, Nick. You can ring Weatherby's and declare, Mike.
He's a quick healer.
Same as people. Some are, some aren't.
I'll go and ring Brandt. Thanks, Stuart.
My pleasure, Mike. Well, Joe, worth a tenner each way tomorrow, is he?
Your bet's as good as mine.
Oh, well done, Mike. I'll leave a couple of bottles of Glenlivet for Staunton on my way home. Well, just to say thank you. Fine. Well, I'll see you tomorrow then about lunchtime.
The favourite Raw Silk with a white noseband is making the running. He's being followed by Open the Case, and then comes Care for a Drink. Gets 2.5 furlongs to run. Fenchurch Street is next, and excellent that is last. But it's Raw Silk who's got it wrapped up towards the line. Raw Silk, home and hose, from Open the Case, Care for a Drink, and Fenchurch Street.
And I got 6 to 1 as well.
Save that for later. Come on. Time for your moment of glory.
Well done.
First, number 5. Second, number 3. Third, number 2. And the fourth horse.
Well done, James.
First, number 5, Raw Silk. Second, number 3, Open the Case.
Congratulations, James. Well done, Mike. It would appear that Ware's mixture has worked its magic.
I expected him to be here shouting from the rooftops.
Oh, he's here, all right. I saw him queuing to collect his winnings.
I don't suppose you...
Nothing extravagant, just a few shillings to keep the wolf from the door.
Heard you made a bit of a killing today?
Oh, hardly a killing. You must be happy.
Yeah. Thought you might have cracked a bottle of fizz with Brandt and me.
Oh, well, I got tied up. The train is wanting the gin and a Quaid, as a matter of fact.
New supply?
Yeah, well, you must be running out of the old one by now.
Yeah. What are your stocks like?
Why?
I'm thinking of putting the whole yard on it.
Oh, well, there might be a bit of a problem there.
Yeah?
Yeah, customs and excise. Well, you know what they're like. Tell them something has a secret herbal additive, and they immediately think you're smuggling dope.
So, no more Equate. Joe!
Well, not until they give the all clearance to the shipment they're holding.
We'll just have to ration it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Let's go. Give David a hand, will you?
I'll take that.
No. Joe? You go ahead. I can manage.
Good morning, Arkenfield. Yeah, speaking. Steve, hi. What can I do for you? Raw Silk? Yeah, what about him? Joe!
Governor!
Office! Now!
I don't believe it.
Came from Steve Matthews. Jockey Club investigating officer. Wanted to warn me before the papers got hold of it.
25 years I've been in this business, and I have never had a horse fail a dope test.
Do you think Nick's been got at?
No. He's a sound man, Nick. Straighter than most.
There's got to be Equate.
Not necessarily.
You've kept samples?
Not only out of every batch, but out of every bag of feed we've used, kept for the regulation 6 weeks.
If David Ware's been playing silly beggars, I'll have him bloody gelded.
Now listen, Mag. Before you string up an innocent man, you better consider all the possibilities.
Who told you that?
Doesn't matter.
It does to me.
Are you denying James Brandt asked you to treat the horse with a banned substance?
No.
Then what was it? Butte? Or something more sophisticated you hoped would slip through?
You mean Steve Matthews didn't identify the substance in question?
He didn't see the lab report. All he knew was that Raw Silk had failed.
But you put 2 and 2 together and came here looking for blood.
Looking for answers, and so far I don't like what I've heard.
Brandt offered me £1,000 to use what means necessary to get Raw Silk fit for Kempton. And I told him the same as I've told countless other owners and trainers over the years.
Then shouldn't you have said something to me?
Yes, I probably should.
Then why the hell didn't you?
Because I thought you'd put him up to it.
I'm so sorry.
How did you find out?
Dad was in the pub.
And Joe got talking?
Have you heard officially yet?
Yes.
And what did they find?
Stanazolol.
Oh, Mike. The stuff they gave that Olympic sprinter.
Yeah, could hardly be worse. What with the European community's total ban on the use of steroids? And I accused Stuart Staunton of pumping him full of Butte. You won't be able to move around here for reporters tomorrow.
What about the Jockey Club?
We've already been turned over by their investigators. They sampled everything but the cornflakes.
Have they given you a date for the hearing?
Yes. I appear before the disciplinary committee on the 15th.
You know the score, Francis. The Jockey Club's God. You can walk in a trainer and walk out unemployed.
And it wasn't Stuart Staunton.
No.
So?
I grilled Nick like the Spanish Inquisition. The only thing we can't vouch for is Equate.
What can you tell us, sir, about the doping of Ross Silk?
Hardy, is this true?
No.
But the horse has failed the dope test.
Yes.
And there will be a Jockey Club investigation.
Yeah?
In which case I shall be removing my horses by the end of the week.
Brigadier, I give you my word, no one at Arkenfield doped Raw Silk.
Who did it is irrelevant. The fact is it happened. And I'm sorry, but you know the rules, Hardy. At the end of the day, the trainer is ultimately responsible for his horses.
Governor, telephone.
If it's another bloody journalist, turn to...
It's the Jockey Club investigator.
Absolutely clean. Everything.
Including Equade?
Standard feed mix containing the same vitamin and mineral supplements as a dozen other brands on the market. That's what the man said.
You sure there's no mistake?
Yeah.
Test tubes getting mixed up in the lab, that's all right?
No. And no chance of it having been administered by a vet either. So if by some miracle we get out of this, James, please, don't ever do that to me again.
He looks in great shape.
Capstan boy.
Yes.
Frank certainly had an eye for a stallion.
It was the last one he bought. He was on his way home from buying him when he had the heart attack. I think he's going to be the best one we've got.
Rachel.
You didn't come up here to discuss Bloodstock.
No.
Mike?
Sort of.
Things aren't going too well, are they?
I'm afraid not. Look, did David ever tell you about the killing he made with Raw Silk?
No.
He spread some rather heavy money around, both locally and up in town.
How much?
10,000. Which means he cleared 60. At first, I didn't believe it. I didn't think that he could lay his hands on that kind of cash.
I gave it to him. He said it was a loan, a further consignment of Equade.
Yes, well, speaking of Equade, I've been checking around. Apart from Mike, no other trainer has had so much as a sniff at the stuff.
But if it's as good as David says it... Have you said anything to Mike?
Not yet. I wanted to check on my suspicions first.
According to Dick Schrager at the American Jockey Club, Equade has an untarnished reputation here. However, there was an incident a month ago. No, in Kentucky. No, not Equade. Another proprietary supplement. Yes, remarkable similarities. No. Dick is one of the few gentlemen on this continent, and he won't name names. Sure, you have other sources. What? No, of course not. I told you. Lunch at the Plaza Hotel. I'm ringing you from the ladies' lavatory. What you can hear is the plumbing.
Hello, John. If it's Dad you want, he's out on his bike.
Yes, I know. It's not Jack I want to see, it's you.
What about?
David Ware.
You'd better come in. I put a call through to Ray Trotter, my old boss in Kentucky. Until 4 weeks ago, David was working down the road at the Borden stud. The rumour is he left under a cloud.
But racing runs on rumours, Francis.
Ray's checking it out, as a favour.
In the meanwhile, Equade
was given a clean bill of health.
Did the investigators sample every bag?
Yes, as far as I know.
You're not sure?
Joe was there. We better go and check.
Do you always keep a sample from every bag?
Not at all. Usually I would just keep a bit out of every batch. Mike asked me to make an exception with Equid.
And the investigators sampled everyone.
First batch and second batch.
Second batch.
David replenished our stock.
Before or after Raw Silk ran?
After. If you remember, Mike, you asked me to give him a help with the unloading.
Well, were you with him all the time?
Nearly all the time. The blacksmith was here, fitting Vivid Dreams with racing plates. He called me over to take a look at a split hoof.
So David could have been alone in here with your samples.
For a minute or two, yes.
The first batch. What did you do with the empty bags?
The same as usual. Threw them on the dump.
Do you want me to come in with you?
Thanks. But if I've got to choke on humble pie, I'd rather do it on my own. Francis, all the trouble you've taken, I appreciate it.
Stuart, I've come to apologise and to ask a favour.
Drink?
Another time. Call me.
Yeah, as soon as I know anything.
Mike, good luck.
Thanks.
Well?
Just thinking. This time tomorrow, we'll be out of a job.
And there have been no problems with Equade anywhere in the States?
Any news?
David? I see. When was that? Do you think Tom Borden would talk to me? What's his number? Got it. Of course, I'll call you as soon as I know. And Ray, thanks. Bye. I'd love a coffee. It could be a long night.
Has Staunton called?
No. Well, it's clutching at straws. Better get on with it.
Come on.
Yes, please take a seat. Yes, they've arrived. Right.
Mr. Hardy?
Cranford 572. One moment, please. Tom Borden, Kentucky.
Hello, Mr. Borden. Thanks for calling back.
Mr. Hardy, do you understand that these proceedings are an inquiry and not a trial?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. And I don't deny that I'm in breach of Rules 53 and 180, Mr. Chairman.
Under the circumstances, that would be difficult.
Mrs. Maxwell?
The steroid was found in all 3 samples, wasn't it?
Yes, but your investigating officer has been unable to shed any light on how it got there.
Agreed. So what we're interested in hearing now is your explanation of the matter.
I haven't got one.
And you're sure? Yeah, well, will Tom be prepared to put something in writing? Right now? Well, that's terrific. Well, I don't know if it will, but I'm certainly going to try.
John?
Well, thanks, Francis. I'll call you back later.
I'm sorry for cutting it so fine. Bloody London traffic.
Well?
Just get me inside that committee room.
I submitted 3 samples from the first batch bags to the Public Analyst's office, and each one proved to be contaminated with the steroid stanozolol.
Meaning the samples kept by the Arkenfield head lad have been exchanged?
Before they were taken by your investigator. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, gentlemen, Mrs. Maxwell. In support of Mr. Staunton's evidence, it has just come to light that the person who supplied the Equade food supplement to Mr. Hardy was recently involved in a similar incident in the United States. However, on that occasion, everything was discovered before the doped horse ran, and the young man was sent packing.
And you can provide the necessary confirmation?
Yes, Tom Borden is faxing a statement to the Jockey Club as we speak.
And the name of the person in question?
David Ware.
Frank Ware's son?
Yes.
Tom Borden has a personal grudge. He'd say anything to get to me.
And Ray Trotter? Pete Hampson? Sidney Back?
The Kentucky Mafia. Small-minded little men with too much imagination.
What you did could cost Mike his license.
And what is it exactly you think I did, Francis?
Don't play games with me, David!
Okay, right. If you are referring to the fact that I supplied Mike Hardy with a feed supplement manufactured by one of the best-known companies in the world, hey, I admit that.
So when Mike sues EDL for selling a contaminated product and their investigators knock on your door, you'll be only too pleased to cooperate.
And what makes you so sure it was me, huh? Mike Hardy is the one who had the most to gain.
And lose.
Got something going, have you?
What?
You know, Francis. Something more than just a professional relationship.
No.
Oh, come on. Mike's a bit tasty, isn't he? So long as you can ignore his drinking problem.
David!
Always had a soft spot for kicked dogs, didn't you?
That's enough. In my house, you'll keep a civil tongue.
Correction! My father's house!
No!
You know what your problem is, Rachel? The memory's just too big for you to live up to.
What was that about? We crossed swords in America.
Bernard!
Nice to see you again, Mr. Gray.
These gentlemen are my guests. I'd like you to find them a nice table for two.
The dining room is rather busy, sir, but as it's you, I'll see what I can do. Excuse me, gentlemen.
Two? Well, after Stuart here's timely appearance, I think we're ahead on points. However, there's no harm in a little insurance. Ask me no questions. I'll tell you no lies.
Gentlemen.
Bernard, you're a magician. I recommend the steak and kidney.
But avoid the liver like the plague.
Sarah, still reluctant to abandon old haunts.
John, what a surprise.
How's George?
Fine.
And the girls?
Very well.
May I?
Mike Hardy?
He's a good man.
The answer is no.
I realize that steroid abuse is the current hot potato. You have to make an example. And Hardy has to be punished, even if his story turns out to be true. Otherwise, all the hounds of Fleet Street will be howling for your blood.
And that wouldn't be good for racing, would it?
If Arkenfield folds, a lot of hard-working people will lose faith in the one thing they really care about.
The rules of racing have to be upheld.
Your horse, Spiral Bound.
What about him?
Quite a performance at Wolverhampton last week. Improving 14 pounds on his last outing.
He surprised us all.
Oh, Sarah, sorry I'm late.
You always were too smart for your own good, John.
There can be no doubt that a serious breach of the rules has occurred. However, Tom Borden has confirmed the details of David Ware's dismissal, and that is undoubtedly in your favor. Concerning penalties, the unanimous decision of this committee is to disqualify Raw Silk from first place at Kempton and delay taking action against you until the tests carried out by the Public Analyst Office can be confirmed by the HRF laboratory. Until that time, you may continue training at Arkenfield.
Here they come. Mr. Harding, one photo. No comment. Mr. Harding. Taxi!
Yeah, what do you think of that, Gary? It's lovely, isn't it?
What's going on?
Congratulations! It arrived just after your phone call from the Jockey Club. Compliments of Mr. Brandt.
Well done, Governor.
Thanks, Nick.
Here we are.
Hey! That's rather an expensive way to apologize.
Nothing to do with apologising. I'm just not built for coming back from the gallops on a tractor and trailer.
Rachel, where's David?
I've no idea. He and Francis had a blazing round. He stormed out.
Is she all right?
I think so. You know how she is. Why don't you look in on her?
Later, at Quaid, the rest of the consignment. Where did David store it?
You could try the old barn.
hell do you think you're doing?
Making sure you can't pull the same stunt again.
I just sold that lot to Gallon's Farm for Cattle Feed Supplements!
I ought to make you eat this, but I'll settle for turning it over to the Jockey Club.
Oh, no, you don't. Now you and the Jockey Club, go take a hike! Ah!
If you come within 3 miles of Arkenfield, you'll wish I'd left you on there.
If you care what you watch and what you read, get the Radio Times. From the men's room, meet the women who love